It's going to be the Sacramento Kings tonight, 39, 24-1. That is no fluke. That is hard work. And that is you guys coming in here being the sharpest chat I know, bringing winners, bringing the energy. Also, Squad Ride 1, Providence, great. Fuck me. They win games, they cover games. It's fucking annoying. Mikey Over's coming on. Might have changed the vibes. Maybe that'll change everything. Maybe I'll be a Providence guy. Maryland out to a fat lead. They have 75 votes already. And we're going to absolutely attack the college basketball card today. Winners only. All right, so we're Mormons tonight. We're going to be soaking with our winnings, okay? And we're 42, 24-1 in squad rides. Dwayne Wade alley-ooping it left and right every fucking day. Let's go BYU. We're soaking in the winnings. It starts tonight with Manhattan, +5. The Jaspers, they get it done at home for the squad ride. Let's end the best fucking week we've had on this goddamn show so far, all right? Why not us?
There we go.
+115. Boom. You know why? Because I trust the squad ride, and that shit prints.
Chat, what's up? How we doing? Shout out to Chiefs. And yeah, we'll get to some squad ride mags, but shout out to Chiefs, shout out Patty Mahomes, legacy performance, legacy drive. Let me know who you guys had. You know who I had. I was rolling with my man Pat, rolling with Andy Reid, rolling with the GOATs. So we had a fantastic night, pretty much every way you slice it. Really helped make up for the weekend, or I guess Friday, Saturday, which were a little tough for I think everybody. But yeah, Mahomes at plus money all day, every day. I don't say that during the regular season, but it was always the Chiefs. A lot of things going on in that game, and yeah, Krabs may have partied too hard. We'll see if he pops his head in here a little bit, but can't really blame him if he doesn't. Year of the DFW is hilarious. Rolling with the refs. Nah, I mean it was a penalty. Let's just call it what it is. Hurts overrated? Absolutely not. That's one thing that I think, regardless of the side that you're on, you cannot come away with that conclusion from this game. Hurts played fantastic. It was his defense that let him down. And I mean, if you want to talk about the penalty, you want to talk about the fumble, the Chiefs scored on every drive in the second half. Every single drive. So as a defense, you can't let that happen. I guess that's just the way it is. Plus 295 at halftime. That's what we like. That's what we like to see. And yeah, they did fly home last night. Caught a couple red eyes, so it's probably why he's drowning a little bit. The man just delivered your shit in the door. There you go, Tyler. That's huge. People act like if they went for 3, they would have scored. 36 seconds left. Yeah, sure. Eagles fans and piss. We love it. Cry, Eagles, cry. No, I'm kidding. The Eagles offense was the better offense yesterday. I don't know. If you look at pretty much every metric, I know there's been a lot of tweets that are going around kind of about the deep numbers. They were like severely outmatched. The Chiefs offense was one of the better offensive performances all year, if you look at all those numbers. We talk about Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. I mean, it's tough to say because, I mean, Josh Allen, they need a running game, which, I mean, you could say that Philly, I mean, it's certainly better. Maybe it's not fantastic, I guess you could say. So, I mean, I wouldn't say like Hurts choked away that game or played terribly like me at all. And I think that was more the case with Josh Allen. Eagles played nobody all year. Yeah, it was tough. I mean, they didn't really get challenged much. I'm not going to say that makes them frauds or anything just because they played nobody all year, because they're still a fantastic team. You got to give them their credit. But, I mean, the Chiefs were the better team yesterday. Better team, better coaching staff, better second half adjustments, and by just a speck, the better defense. Critical point, absolutely, Sladek, and that's 100% right. Critical point was when they forced a field goal on this drive that, I mean, for a person who I was sweating Mahomes' rush attempts for my little nuke two-piece, if you guys saw that, but they had a really, really long drive. They milked the clock. They kept that defense on the field for a long time, and it ended with a field goal. So, I mean, that was the biggest point in the game right there. You're 100% correct. The Chiefs defense getting that stop was massive, absolutely massive. And from that point on, you know, once the Chiefs scored a touchdown on the next drive, it was huge. That was a big, probably the biggest momentum swing in the game, I think. And I know the fumble's up there too, but this is huge. Trenton Piss, yeah, he'll come back though. He'll come back. Andy, man, that's weird. That's hilarious. Yeah, defense didn't show up. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes didn't get touched. I know people who've seen the videos, I mean, both pass rushes were kind of non-existent. The field probably had something to do with that a little bit, but I mean, you got to get some pressure on Mahomes, especially for, you know, a guy who in the second half is he re-injured that ankle going into the second half, so he's coming out a little gimpy. I know he's probably shot up with things that are illegal in about 58 countries, but he was gimpy for a little bit. I know he looked fine at the end, but you got to get some pressure on him at the end of the day. And yeah, the field was bad. I don't know why that happens. I'm not a field chemist or whatever, but it was weird. It was weird. People talking about the Eagles defense, but it's Mahomes. No one can stop them. I mean, absolutely, yeah. I think it's more like, yes, the Eagles defense didn't get stops, but it's hard to get stops against Patrick Mahomes in that offense. I said it from the kind of the beginning of the year. Like Tyreek Hill, huge for that team, no question. He's one of the best receivers in the NFL. But kind of the receiving core they assembled, it stops them from being kind of one-dimensional. Like you think when you have Tyreek Hill, you have McCole Hardman, you have, I mean, they didn't at the time, but like a Kadarius Toney. It's very one-dimensional, which is why when the Bucs were in the Super Bowl and they played the Chiefs, what they do? They played cloud coverage and kept everything in front of them. Now they can't necessarily do that. It's assembled very differently. So it's even, I think, harder to game plan for, which is why I took the Chiefs from the start of the year. So, I mean, their offense is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Eagles didn't even get a sack. 100%. I mean, shout out to the Eagles or the Chiefs O-line, regardless of what the field or whatever had anything to do with it. And David Tallman. We'll get to that a little bit. That was weird. But yeah, shout out the O-line. Legacy performance. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles did their best to kind of keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands for a majority of that game. They had a couple long drives, especially in the first half, and then coming out of that second half, and it just wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. It was a hell of a game. Hurts was making some incredible throws. I mean, yeah, you got to show respect to him because we talk about Mahomes fighting through his ankle injury. Hurts has a shoulder injury, which did it hinder him? I mean, absolutely. You saw it on some throws, but he was lights out for a lot of the playoffs and fighting through that. So shout out to him. Always guard legacy catch for his yards. Yeah. Thankfully, I mean, not that it would have made a difference for me because the catch either way, but regardless of the catch or no catch on that little controversial call, they had another one after that, which was a goal. That was cool. So no debate for Goddard. That was awesome. Why didn't I go to the game? Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Got big birthday plans for the birthday today. Got a lot of things. Was the shoulder why that last throw was so weak? I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm sure that played a little bit into it. After the first possession out of the half, and knew Chiefs were winning that game. Yeah, I mean, those cookie cake. Absolute cookie cake. Should have kept the coach they hired 2 weeks for halftime adjustments. Yeah, I mean, that's a big part, as big a part as anything, too. Andy Reid and that whole coaching staff. Yes, it's my birthday, fellas. It is. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate it. Shout out to the FD boost. Yeah, I mean, there were boosts for pretty much every possible outcome of that game. So, I mean, all you had to do is pick the right one, which I think was cool. But, I mean, a lot of people feasted. Yesterday, which is good. I love to see it. It was like the square, don't overthink it props. We're smacking a lot, which was awesome. Especially, I mean, even for some of us who aren't typically on square stuff, we're on some square stuff and it hit. And a lot of people feasted, so I love to see it. Appreciate it. Yeah, the octopus. Since it's my birthday, I have to bet Prairie View today. That's a terrible birthday present. Yeah, the octopus was hilarious. That was hilarious. I didn't see that one coming. But we do have somebody coming on today, even though it's potentially not Krabs, just potentially not Krabs. We got our man DJ to lock it up for us. How are you doing?
What's going on with Krabs?
Oh, I mean, he had a little too much to drink last night, maybe a little bit. But I mean, they had some red eyes. So
it is the number one called out of work day in the United States is today. And if you work in the sports betting business, I thought you would tighten up, Krabs. I thought you would tighten up. But if you're flying, I get it. That changes.
Well, yeah, I think they flew like right. They went to the airport right like after the game, and then I think he got in at like 8 a.m. So I was like, give him a pass.
Who was that sponsored by Prize? Somebody's got to talk to Prize Picks. Whoever is head of planning.
Well, I think the priority was getting everybody back for the surgical stream right after this. So I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, it's hard. It's dedication.
Okay,
even if you don't wake up for it.
Makes a lot more sense.
The thought was. So I mean, Super Bowl thoughts.
I thought it was great. I thought the right team won. I am, it was a contrarian thought to want to bet the under. I like the over enough not to play it, but I'm happy from a fan perspective that it was a high scoring game. We saw a lot of offense, and props to the Eagles, man. I thought they fucking hung in there, and I just think at the end of the day, I know that call is very questionable, but I don't think it's enough to bitch about if you're an Eagles bettor to say that you got screwed, because I do think the Mahomes was not touched, not sacked, not anything. The Chiefs made enough plays and they deserve to win. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I said this a little bit earlier. It's like, yeah, I mean, you can argue about the call all you want. The Eagles defense let the Chiefs score on every possession of the second half. So
yeah, right. And in the first half, the offense only scored on the first drive, and then the other touchdown came from the Chiefs defense. So they did their job there, I guess. But just an absolute masterclass, really, of Andy Reid in the second half with the play designs and how easy were those touchdowns. With Tony and Sky Moore. I mean, it's just,
oh my God.
Yeah.
I think it was it was a Tony one. The Tony one, that was an absolute masterclass. He motioned him out or towards the line and got the whole secondary to kind of pinch in, and that was beautiful.
I don't think anyone on the Eagles defense really stood out for me, like making a play. Like, I didn't come away being like, damn, blank player, played his ass off on the defense. I'm not saying anybody necessarily played poorly, but I think that's kind of just a testament to how good the Chiefs offense was.
Yeah, I mean, they were immaculate. I mean, even like, I guess the beginning of the game or first half, I guess, when they were not as sharp, I guess you could say. I mean, a lot of the plays they just weren't sharp. It wasn't necessarily like anybody making a fantastic play for the Eagles whatsoever. So, like, I mean, you're right. I don't think anybody stood out.
And I actually think I give a lot of credit to who was the DB, that Bradbury that made the penalty. I actually thought, taking ownership like that, I think you deserve a lot of credit to just be like, yeah, I held him, rather than make a huge stink about it. And again, I mean, it was a really ticky-tack call, and it sucks that it happened in the situation that it did. I don't necessarily, I'm not saying I agree with it, but a lot of players in that situation are gonna, be very upset and deny it, till the end. I thought it was kind of cool that he was just like, yeah, I did it.
It wasn't even like, not that this was penalty related, but the 49ers are bitching for 2 weeks now about, we're a better team than the Eagles. Who, if I was a betting man, I'd put everything on the Chiefs. We got screwed by injuries. We would, totally healthy, we'd be railing the Eagles or whatever. That stuff I hate. But I mean, I respect James Bradbury for taking ownership of that a little bit.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that was cool. So I do want to get into some of the slate tonight since we're a little shorter on time, Shaw Krabs. But we'll get to it. I know you said you had some college basketball leans, so I guess we can start there and see where we end up.
I don't love the board today, but there are a couple games catching my eye. I guess we don't have to get into it right now because it's kind of like one of the primetime games and it's later on the board. But one of the gross ones that was speaking to me, which I was curious to hear your thoughts about, was Texas. Or no, let's start with Prairie View A&M and Grambling State. Why do I want to bet on Prairie View A&M today?
I mean, I can see why.
Can you name a player on their team?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, there's very few SWAC players that I can name. I'll tell you that. But I mean, it's tough in the SWAC, or I guess a lot of these lower conferences, because I mean, if you look at like Prairie View, they're going to be in sharp spots pretty much every game, and Grambling is going to be kind of on the other side of that. So it's either they come out and it's a close game, they win outright, or they lose by 30.
Right.
So I can't blame you for playing it. It's just not one that I looked at and I'm like, I'm running to take that one.
Yeah, that's fair. I wouldn't say I'm running, but I'm walking at a decent rate, a decent pace to get a ticket. I mean, it's moving on you. On me, 6.5 to 4.5 now. Holy shit! What stands out to me, though, again, it's just one of those things with a team that's really bad on the road getting money. They're 3-12 on the road, and Grambling State's at 8-1 at home. So, and they're 8-2 in their last 10 straight up. That kind of catches my eye. Why money's hitting Prairie View there. So, that's one of the handful of games that I got my eye on. Texas Southern at Southern's another one. Not really a line move, but just kind of a line freeze here. It's holding steady at 6.5. Southern 8-0 at home. They're a little one game over 500 against an 8-17 Texan Southern team that's 2-10 on the road. So again, just one that kind of catches my attention. And if I want to force a play, it's probably going to be on Texas Southern. What do you think?
Yeah, the Texas Southern one is interesting because we've talked about this a couple times now. Me and Krabs. I mean, Texas Southern, they get a lot of line respect just because they're. I don't even know who to compare them to, but they're kind of the team in that conference that they start out the year playing a lot of like higher conference opponents or Power 5 opponents. They'll play like UNC, they'll play the Gonzagas and get blown out like every non-conference game every year, and then they come and like sweep through their conference season and make the tournament. So they always have gotten a lot of heavy lines. So to see them, I mean, for me, to see them 6.5 here is almost strange. And I know it's Southern who's been immaculate at home, but it's tough. And I mean, I don't particularly care for the splits, even though they're probably not much handle in that game.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's probably enough for me to stay off of then.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to read splits for these games, but it's weird.
True. I'd love to see what Pickett would say on this game. It's probably 37 bets.
Yeah, there's probably a max
$900.
Probably nothing. Probably absolutely nothing.
So the game that I like the most, and I kind of feel a little square for saying it, but I think I like Texas. And I think you agree?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll give you my thoughts, and I'm sure you can, break it down from more of a basketball brain perspective. But just from the betting angle, something that we're seeing in the second half of these seasons, I think at least, are these spots in a second matchup between two teams where you kind of think you're on the sharp contrarian side, but I think that you're actually getting duped a little bit with the home team here, Texas Tech, getting 3.5 points. Texas and Texas Tech already played in Texas, and I think Texas won by 2 points. So it was already a really tight game. And Texas Tech just came through in a sharp spot, beating Kansas State outright. And then the home game before that, they beat Iowa State. So I think this is a spot a lot of people are going to get cute and take the points with Texas Tech. I'm going to go the other way. I like Texas here, even though they just beat the absolute piss out of West Virginia. I'm okay with that. And we saw it a few times recently I think we just saw it with Kansas and Oklahoma. I think this was a really similar spot. Kansas and Oklahoma had already played. It was a tight game. Kansas won by 4. Then they're 3.5-point favorites in Oklahoma. Looks like a line freeze. You fall for Oklahoma and Kansas wins easy. So I like Texas here. It's probably my favorite play of the day.
Yeah, and I'm 100% with you because I think it's not even just the fact that Texas Tech came in a big spot and beat Kansas State in the last game. Texas Tech gets a lot of respect at home. They always do. So to see them, kind of my initial thoughts on this game is to see them, Texas 3.5 up to 4 and 4.5. It was at some point, some places. It's a little shocking, and I know Texas is, I think, the best team in the Big 12. I don't think there's really a debate right now. I just placed a natty future on them as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think they're very good. And Texas, yeah, Dilgod's 100% right. Their offense has really impressed me. But looking at some of these Texas Tech games, like in the last couple games, Kansas State at home. These are all home. They closed 1.5-point favorites. Then you go to Iowa State. They closed 2.5 favorites. West Virginia, they closed 3.5 point favorites. Baylor, they closed 1.5 favorites. So, I mean, they get a lot of respect at home. And what's the one game they didn't get respect at home? Oklahoma, when they closed 4.5 and they lost that game by 5. So to see this number for Texas is pretty telling to me. I think they go down, and I don't want to say they do what they did to West Virginia, but I think they beat this game pretty easily.
Someone in the chat, Moyoyo29, is saying, why on earth is Tech favored? They're not. Am I looking at the wrong line?
No.
Texas is favored by 3.5, right?
Yeah, 3.5, 4.
Okay, I just want to make sure because that would have read wrong. Thank you. That was going to throw me way off. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a game where, and I only watched Texas earlier in the year, and I was saying that I thought they were bad. So it's kind of funny to fast forward like 2 or 3 weeks later, and now you're someone who I really respect as a bettor is placing a future on them to win the Natty. So I feel like a fucking idiot. But yeah,
Well,
I mean,
to be fair, I mean, first there was the whole Chris Beard situation. So like kind of immediately after that happened, they weren't fantastic. I mean, they played like a game against Rice where it was down to the wire a little bit. They had a couple interesting kind of weird performances, but it's really been like the last couple weeks. And I wasn't in on them kind of initially either, but they've really, really impressed me. So
okay.
it's kind of, I just got to this point now. So it's not like you had your read wrong from the start.
Okay, cool. Yeah, and for anybody saying this feels like a rat line, that's we're kind of acknowledging that in a way, but there are, I mean, I think Jovan made a really good point. It's like if you have been paying attention to what the lines have been throughout the season, Texas Tech usually getting respect at home would make more sense. And then if anything, this kind of shows me that Texas seems to be getting some respect on the road.
Yeah.
And especially only after beating Texas Tech again, I just want to repeat, by 2 points. So it really is giving me the Kansas at Oklahoma vibes. And they won that game by like 17. I think it was kind of a no sweat game. So I'm getting that sense. The same thing happens here with the ranked favorite. And I'll probably just lay it on the ML with Texas, but I feel really good about the points too. So I haven't decided yet, but that'll probably be my favorite play of the night.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be laying the points. I mean, usually I'm kind of where I'm at this 3.5, 5 is where to say, I take the money line. It's usually going to be a close game. Not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I feel pretty comfortable laying the points. And but like the Texas Tech kind of line respect at home in kind of a more concise way. Their home games in conference have been Kansas, Oklahoma, Baylor, West Virginia, Iowa State, and Kansas State. And they've been underdogs in 2 of those games. And the 2 games they're underdogs were it was the Oklahoma game where they're underdogs by 4.5, and then Kansas where they're only underdogs by 1.5. And guess what happened in both of those 2 games? They didn't cover. So that's what I'm thinking about that game. So you agree too. Do you want to talk
about? Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get to UNC Miami.
Yeah, right. That's what I wanted to ask you about.
This one's very tough. Very, very tough. Initial thoughts.
I mean, the line speaks to me in saying that it's UNC for sure. Did UNC beat them the first time, or did Miami beat them?
It's a good question. I don't know. Did they play already?
I thought someone mentioned in my stream that they did, but I could be wrong.
No, they didn't. They didn't play this year yet.
Oh, they haven't played. Okay, well,
no.
It changes things a little bit. Then, I mean, it's hard to go against this for me if you see the ranked team as a trendy dog, and then a line moving against them. Everything from that alone says take UNC, but for whatever reason, I just don't really want to. A couple people in my stream are saying just don't fade Miami, and I think I'm coming around to that a little bit more, where instead of what was that saying I've mentioned before, but it's like it's better to pass on a winner than bet a loser.
Yeah,
this game for me just kind of fits that mold. And yeah, I guess maybe it's UNC, but would you really be shocked if Miami just had the lead from the start of the game and won outright? Not really. I wouldn't be. No. So I'm just going to pass.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. It feels like to me, because I'm very tired of fading Miami. I kind of stopped already. But I mean, this feels like one where I need kind of a pristine spot for like UNC to be in, and them coming off a 20-point win against a ranked Clemson team is probably not it.
And good point.
I mean, on the other side too, Miami is coming off of I guess you can say, very disappointing game. I mean, they won by 7 as 20-point favorites against Louisville at home. So, I mean, not the best spot. I know they had a Duke win by 20-something before when everybody was on Duke kind of as a sharp spot, but it just doesn't feel like enough to me. It's probably a pass game for me too. And I think, I mean, obviously UNC seems like the sharp side here, and it is. It's just maybe it lands somewhere within this move in like the 4 and 5 range. I don't know. It's not one that I'm running to get involved in, because this is a UNC team too, which we've been beating this drum for a while. Even though we know that they're not the same team from last year, they get a lot of respect no matter who it is line-wise.
Yeah.
they're kind of, I don't want to say they're as bad as Ohio State, but it's kind of similar situations that I see them at. And
What I thought about UNC was I watched them. God, I watched them on a plane play. Who was the Appleby point? Oh, Wake Forest.
for us,
And I was first of all, I was very impressed by that Appleby guy. But UNC was getting clobbered in that game, and I thought to myself, there's always like games where you're like, all right, like especially a blue blood, like a respected school, are they going to come back and fight back and not make it look embarrassing? And there were many times that game I was like, damn, they're just not going to. Like Wake Forest is going to win this game by 25, 30 points. And then I didn't watch the end of it, but seeing that they came back and won by 7 or only, lost by 7 did show they had some fight, and shame on me for not taking advantage of it. I know, most of the followers and people that bet like us did take UNC against Clemson because that was a really big number, but that showed me, all right, UNC got that out of their system. They kind of hit their skid, hit their down slow, and then they're kind of getting out of it and getting back. So it very well could be the case. And maybe that's why this line is what it is. Maybe that's why money, is hitting UNC. And I totally get that if anybody wanted to bet UNC. But I think mid-major Matt pointed out, Miami could be like the Orioles and the Vikings. And I don't want to give them a unit. So I think it's a perfect stay away game personally.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there are basketball reasons too. For I guess a reason to back UNC, somebody said in the chat. I mean, Baycott is going to absolutely feast, and Omier, I love him. He's really, really good, but he's not physical enough. Like he'll get his boards, he'll get his numbers as well. But when it comes down to it, Baycott is going to eat over anybody on that defense, like respectfully. So I mean, there's basketball reason, I guess, for sharps and money to be hitting them as well. But I just can't do it.
Do you like the I think is it Caleb Love on UNC?
I'm not a Caleb Love and RJ Davis guy.
Yeah, I'm not a Caleb Love guy either, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean they're two guys that are just too inconsistent for me. I know they have the volume to kind of do it and go get a bucket whenever they want, but it's tough watching them, especially we go through periods of times where I don't know how many of your games or their games that you've watched, but they disappear at times. But the one thing that's in the back of my mind is they do stuff like this. I mean, in the tournament, he's a killer.
Yeah.
He can show up in moments, but I haven't seen enough of that this year.
Yeah. Not into it. I know you said we're kind of pressed for time, but there is a game. I do want to ask you your thoughts on Baylor, West Virginia before we run out of time.
Oh, yeah. We're not that pressed.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got enough.
Love it.
We'll go back, though. We'll go back.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, so Baylor, West Virginia. That's an interesting one. What are your thoughts there?
My thoughts are West Virginia. I like that West Virginia got their ass kicked. And in that game, they were, I think I mentioned it, but 7-point favorites, which did look like a lot of respect, in my opinion, to Texas, or for Texas. Yeah. And now they're sitting at 6.5 against Baylor, who has won and covered in 3 straight. So I think it seems a little short, but that's why I wanted to bring it up. You know the Big 12 really well, and maybe I could be off, but I thought maybe this would be maybe a point and a half adjustment for Baylor, given to how West Virginia just did on their previous road games. So I don't know. I'm leaning West Virginia, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I would lean them too. This game was a 5-point game with West Virginia favored at home, but that's another situation or the first time around, it's another situation where they get a lot of respect at home. I do think this line is a little short. Especially when you look at, I know Texas is probably, most people could argue, Texas and Baylor are neck and neck right now, similar teams. Texas was, 5 steamed hard up to 7.5 by the time that game closed. And now we're seeing kind of a line freeze at 6.5 with Baylor getting hammered. And Baylor has looked immaculate. And a lot of that is because of very fortunate scheduling. They've played pretty much every team at the bottom of the Big 12, which is Big 12. And they played a hurt TCU this weekend, but it's definitely a short line. I'll say that. I 100% would lean West Virginia.
Yeah. Yeah, it hasn't. It's not anything that again I'm that excited for. I'm really not excited for much on this slate other than Texas, but I just can't help but think like a 2-6 road team. Baylor, like you said, probably neck and neck with Texas, and we just saw West Virginia in that 7-point spread get killed. I thought it would be a point and a half higher, maybe a little bit of adjustment, but it's kind of telling, especially with Baylor being 9-1 in their last 10, 12-2 at home, and 7-2-1 ATS.
Absolutely.
I think West Virginia is going to be a strong lean for me tonight.
Yeah, honestly, I might play them. I mean, what better spots do we get? And I mean, West Virginia, they have superpowers at home. Now they're on the road, which a
Right.
microcosm of what they've done on the road this season is them getting blown out by 34 against Texas. They've been competitive at times, but they really can't come through in really any spot other than Texas Tech. So
Right.
it's tough for them. And if this line kind of freezes where it is, God forbid if we see it move back to 6, I'm going to be in.
Love it.
Yeah. We can move back to CBB in a little bit because, I mean, there's only a handful of games that we all discussed. But
Right.
you want to take a trip to whichever you prefer, of the ice or the association?
I would say, I don't love really many boards tonight. Let's go with hockey. I think there's 5 games. Might as well get through it.
Why not us? Why not us? Here we go. I mean, I've taken kind of a brief look at this board, and the only one that stood out to me, which I mean, it was super, super quick, was the Canucks. I haven't even looked at the splits here, but yeah, I mean, pretty 50-50.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. The line's starting to tick back a little bit, so I'll be keeping a close eye on it, but decent spot to fade them. 2 wins in a row. One close one against the Flames as underdogs, and then the spot that you pointed out against the Canucks on Saturday, where they were kind of the Penguins of the day, and now they're playing them again in Vancouver, and Vancouver is catching a little respect here, I think. That'll probably be my side.
I don't hate it. It's not necessarily mine, but I do agree. I mean, that is some respect, especially when you look at both teams' records. What's tough for me about Vancouver though is they did just returning back from that 4-game road trip, and I always say this, but I hate betting on a team in their first game back. I don't have the data to back it up, but man, that win they really against the Islanders was huge for them.
Yeah.
And so that to me, I don't know if you played the Canucks in that game. I think I had them on the puck line, but that to me was like such a spot for the Canucks to come through that I'm just so hesitant to go back to them so soon. Okay. That's really, I don't like the Wings. I agree with you. I think it would be Canucks or nothing for me here, but just because it's just 2 games removed from that huge win against the Islanders, I don't want to bet on them just yet.
No, that's fair. And I mean, I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm not 100% on it either because I mean that line is hovering. I mean, it's minus 115, minus 105. So I mean, if we see it move back to pick 'em, I'm probably off. But yeah. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that for sure. The one thing it's keeping me around is I know it's 2 games removed, but the one game in between those was a loss to the same team. So
true.
I'll be keeping an eye on it a little bit. But what's the play on the board that you like?
Well, it's not one I like very much, and I don't have a strong side. I don't even know if I'm making a hockey play tonight, but I really hate to say I think it's the Flames. They got to move in their favor, and they're just the type of team that people fucking hate them so much, and as soon as everybody jumps ship, that's when teams like this come through. And I think everybody finally jumped ship whenever they just fucking played the Sabres. And of course they go in there and score 7 goals and win easy. So I got to tell you, it's just one of those things where after a team like the Flames have disappointed so much, and it not even just back and forth. I mean, consistently and consecutively underperformed. Yeah. I would be surprised if they came back after that game against the Sabres with a loss to the Senators. So money's hitting them. It looked like there was a move. I'm seeing they're up to 170 now. which is a pretty big number for them. And, they're not necessarily that good on the road. Ottawa's got a decent home record. They're 500 on the year. I mean, they can hang. They're tough. Total 6 to 6.5. Not sure if you have a read on that. I thought 6 was a little low, but I think the Flames actually can play some pretty good defense. So maybe I'm wrong there. So I lean Flames probably for my favorite side.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with that. I love, obviously the fat, like 20, 25 point line move. But at 6 to 6.5, I was initially going to look at the under before that happened because the Senators won. I mean, they're coming off a game. I think this was their only game possibly since the break, which is a little weird.
That is weird.
But nine goals against in the Oilers game in that game. And then before the break, I mean, they're scoring they scored 5, 5, and 6 in those last couple of games. Their offense was really starting to get humming. So I was shocked to see a 6 initially. Now that it's moving up, I guess it's because of the goalie starting for Ottawa, which I probably don't love either. But it's interesting. How do you feel about that being included in this little move here?
I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I mean, I'm not going to buy bad news and bet the Senators necessarily, but it's just one of those things. Now I feel like it makes it too obvious.
It might.
I would bet the under now, if anything.
Sends goalie up for 3 goals allowed. Really?
Oh, that's right. Pat had mentioned that.
Is this his first career start?
If you pull up the square, I think it actually shows his previous games. I'm really confused actually because I pulled this up earlier and I thought he had already played some. Furl might know.
First this year.
It's his first game this year?
That's just what I'm seeing in the chat. I played briefly versus the Oilers.
Oh, he played in October. That's right. Okay, so he's played earlier this season. He played briefly versus the Oil. Got it.
I guess I can try and bring it up here. But that's super interesting. I would love if they continue to put goals allowed squares up early. That would be nice.
Yeah, I think this is the only one for now, unfortunately.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to read because, that February 11th game, where did he come in off the bench? So the 0 is it's not a shutout. It's just he didn't give up a goal for the little period that he was in, and then these are all last year for the most part. That's kind of a useless square.
Yeah, that fucked me all up. I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I still probably lean the Flames. Again, for a lot of the reasons aside from trying to get cute and be contrarian and not buy bad news. I think I'd probably be fine with it.
Yeah, that's fine. Another one that I guess is probably super sharp, but I don't know if anybody wants to go to. How do you feel about the Panthers?
Well, talk about these teams, in my opinion, I don't know what the fuck was going on with the Wild recently. I think they finally. Oh yeah, they beat the Devils in overtime. But before that, let's see. Yeah, they lost to the Coyotes, Stars, and Knights. They've been reeling. So that was a good get-right game. But the Panthers are on my short list of teams that have been underperforming to start the year. And I know they just lost to the Avalanche, but that was a really pissed off Avalanche team. That wanted to win and got to win, and good for them. But I just don't think I want to fade the Panthers. I don't know. And I know the Wild are due. I think, Furl's saying Wild. I think that's probably the nastier side. That's probably the side I would lean if I had to make a bet. But I'm just going to be upset with myself if I lose a unit against a team that I feel like is getting right and due to get to string along some wins. So I'm staying off of it.
Fair enough. Look at some of these odds. That over seems a little interesting to me. I want to see the splits on it. It's a little public.
Public. It is public. But I know the Panthers have been. Let's see, the last 10. Yeah, the Panthers are 9-1 to the over their last 10. The Wild, however, are 3-6-1. So they've been an under team. Yeah,
they've been an under team. So I don't know. Not even like a lot of the couple of the overs they've hit too have been 5.5. So they haven't hit an over 6.5 in quite a while, it looks like. So the last time they hit it, I guess, was against the Panthers, which was before the break.
Damn.
Pretty much the exact same game in Florida, which is really, really weird. But I don't know. It's a pretzel game. I am looking at that over. I think that might be square. It might hit. Same with honestly the Canucks Red Wings over, even with the AHL goalie. 'Cause, I mean, I don't think, or no, that's the Senators. But
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, with this, I mean, I've been looking at kind of these lines that are 6.5, like super juice. You see the ones like -130, -135, and they refuse to go up to 7. Those
Yep.
have been hitting at a pretty consistent rate, and that's what I'm kind of seeing right now with
Okay.
the Canucks and the Sabres game, which the Sabres probably have that every game, but Canucks and Wings, that one's refusing to move. We'll keep tabs on that one, but I'm definitely
Yep.
eyeing that. Definitely eyeing that.
Okay.
Um, any lean in this Sabres Kings game?
I mean, I'd probably lean Sabres.
Mm.
Do you think that that's the wrong side?
No, not necessarily. The Kings are, I don't want to say they're on my shit list, but like I don't particularly have a great read on a lot of their games. So
Right.
I just conceded. But I'm not against the Sabres in the spot.
Well, one thing I like is, let's see, the Sabres. So they played February 1st. They lost 5-1 against the Hurricanes. Then they didn't play till February 11th after the All-Star break. They lose 7-2 against the Flames. Kind of think after a long, see what we should have done, we didn't make a mental note for next year. Fade these teams that don't play for like 10 days. You know what I mean? Because it's the rest versus rust thing, and they are not doing very well. So, but now you shake it off a little bit. I think I like the Sabres to fight pretty hard in this game. They've been a pretty good road team. And the Kings got to be sitting back feeling pretty good about themselves because they just played a home game and shut out the Penguins 6-0. I could see the pesky Sabres coming in there and making some noise. That's what I think. Oh, yeah, look at Ferg. Furl. Kings coming off a big win, and the Sabres just got rolled.
Yeah, Sabres have lost their last 2 games to the Flames and Canes by a combined 12-3.
Right.
I mean, spot wise, can't get much better with that on one side, and then the big 6-0 shutout on the Penguins on the other side. So
I like the Sabres to score first.
ooh,
That's what I would bet.
cheeky.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up some of the team total prices, see if anything stands out there, because I feel like that could be an interesting one with the Kings coming off the shutout, and the Sabres have not scored more than 2 goals in those 2 games against the Flames and Canes. I would love to hear if Pierre has something to say. That'd be awesome. Pens running back to back, second end against the Kings. To be fair, yeah, but a 6-0 shutout that gives no excuse for that.
Yeah, and I mean they were in the West Coast in the state of California. I can't imagine they had to even like travel that far.
Yeah.
And it wasn't it after the All-Star break too, so they were kind of rested. It just wasn't. What I'm saying is like you're not your typical back-to-backs, and losing like 6-4 is one thing, but 6-0 is rough.
Yeah, just a little bit. And I mean, maybe the price is a little steep, not too much. But I mean, that over 2.5 is -165 for the Sabres, which I mean, the over 3.5 for the Kings is -125. So they got steep prices both ways. That actually might be probably the square over that I feel better about hitting.
I like that. Also, this guy mentioned it was Dustin Brown's retirement night for the Kings when they shut out the Penguins. So could be a very emotional win they're coming off of. I would always like that as a potential fade spot. So
there you go. Oh, if we got Copley in that too, that would be fantastic because he's the one that's coming off of the shutout. If he's in that would be great. That would really like
that would be great.
That'd be
fantastic. I think the only hockey play I might be making tonight is the Buffalo Sabres to score the first goal.
I might have to join you.
And do you like the Predators puck line before we move off of hockey? Because I know it's square, but I think it might be hitting.
I mean, I'm not going to play it personally. I'm not against it. Can't say anything against it. But
okay, fair enough.
Myself. Quickly before we get to squad ride and stuff, anything in the association?
There is one spot I think I like. I know a lot of people in my stream were talking about the Orlando Magic. The Bulls are fuckers. They just always, I feel like especially when they play the Magic, and you got the Vucevic revenge angle to worry about. It's not anything I love at all. I'm looking at this Pelicans Oklahoma City game. And I can't really understand, unless there's some injury news, why Oklahoma City went from a 3-point favorite to a 2-point favorite at home. against the Pelicans team that is 9-18 on the road. So that is catching my eye. And then you look at the splits. I like what I'm seeing with the splits.
Yeah.
So I think the Pelicans are probably my favorite play. Other than that, I think somebody had mentioned that the Nuggets went from dog to a favorite in Miami.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going on there. It's kind of intriguing, but overall, not a lot of spots I like in the NBA.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean it's so hard to read Heat totals. I try to do it all, or not totals, but just line flips all the time because they always got the whole team out. It's annoying. It's super annoying. But I mean, if no injuries are in that game, 100%. Oh, there you go. Hero doubtful, sure.
Hero's doubtful. Oh yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Catch the injury reports once that game gets closer to tip off. But that Pelicans line is really, really interesting. Not really sure what to make of that one. Spurs TT and Sixers TT. I'll check that out. Nets. Seen a couple Nets in the chat. What do you think about the Nets? What are they?
I'm getting a little nervous. The Nets are getting a bit trendy here. They're quite lovable, and I can't say I'm not on that same train. I mean, I like what I'm seeing. Even that loss, I think they lost to the Sixers, but they fought hard. They came back. They played their ass off, and their defense has been great. They're fun. They're a team that's got the chip on the shoulder. I love that. But I don't know. Like the line and everything tells me Nets, but I hate to say it. I am leaning Knicks here because don't you just kind of think like the gas has to run out a little bit too on the Nets?
Yeah, I mean, probably at some point. I wouldn't say I'm there with this team yet to say they're going to be amazing just because they look so good defensively in some of these games. But
right.
I mean, the Knicks have been pretty good at home, especially as of recently. So I guess you can get that. They're just overall playing really well in general. So, I mean, maybe the 2.5 is a little short, but it does have to come to an end at some point.
It does.
The thing that I guess makes me like the Nets, not necessarily that I like them, but what's putting my eye to it is the Knicks have not even just been playing well, especially at home, but they've been playing well against a lot of good teams too. Especially, I mean, they beat, this was on the road, but I mean, they beat the Magic, which I don't think many people could say was an accomplishment until just now, the way the Magic have been playing.
Sure.
Sixers a couple times. I mean, Clippers, even when they're hot, Heat beat the Heat too, which is always tough the way those two teams play. So I mean, they've been impressing me a little bit. So it's tough. It's tough, and the Knicks have been good at home as of recently, especially ATS. So
the Nets also did beat the Knicks when they played recently.
They did.
I'm just looking at the Nets' previous 5 games, though, and I mean they've covered 4 or 5, and the one they didn't, they lost to the Sixers by 3 points. And mostly, what it just comes down for me right now is I think everybody's a little too high on the Nets, and I think we just have to pump the brakes. I don't want them to crash. I want them to succeed. As I always root for the Davids against the Goliaths and shit, and I'm pulling for the underdogs, but if I am playing this game, I'm going to be taking the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I do kind of like that under for basketball reasons, but it's dropped so much.
Yeah, it's like 4 points, 4.5 points is too late.
Yeah,
that's what I feel.
Just a little too late. But I like that though. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Nets pull it out, but it's not one that I'm kind of running to either. So it's tough.
I do see, I don't know how much time we have left, but people are asking and talking about the Jazz line. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Jazz line. I don't even think I looked at that one. Oh, why
they're favored on the road against the Pacers, which I think is kind of odd.
Is it?
Well, weren't the Pacers just favored against like the Suns? Granted, they lost, but just from an odds maker standpoint, I don't really know what's going into that there. I mean, the Pacers are 17-13 at home, and the Jazz are 10-18 on the road.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's interesting. Tyrese and Turner of game time decision. That might do it, but
well, yep, that's going to be it then.
That just might do it. I don't know. It's such a tough one to read though, because it says they opened plus 2.5. Is that true? The Jazz did. They flipped the favorites.
Yeah, well, I guess that would make sense then if they open plus
That
2.5
would
and
make
they're up
sense.
to a point favorite with those guys potentially out.
Yeah, that would make sense. So I mean, probably gotta keep an eye on that one for injury news and everything, but
True.
it's tough.
True. What's your favorite play on the board in the NBA?
In the NBA, I mean, favorite play on the board is not from anything you haven't said, but I mean, I'd probably have to lean the Palace. It's that favorite play.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
I
I
hate.
like
I hate betting against the Thunder at home, and a lot of people have said the same thing and believe the same thing, but that doesn't make much sense. That move doesn't make much sense. The money coming on them as well. So, is that your favorite play too?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I like it. And then people were asking me about the Wizards and Warriors. The Warriors line being a little short, even with Steph being out. That's a stay away from me.
Yeah, there's not many spots that just aren't stayaways when it comes to betting the Warriors, unless their entire team is out for me. But we'll see. Get the Twitch chat up so we can make the poll. But here we go. We do need to start crafting squad ride plays while we're here.
Okay. Do you know how to do a poll?
Yeah, I think I figured it out last time. When we
I saw you perform the raid. That was fun.
I didn't even do that because I had to go, but I tried. I tried for like a second, and then I was like, you know what? I literally have to go to class, so I'm not going to figure this out now.
Not worth it.
I'm probably not going to ever have to do it again. So we left that one as is. But squad ride chat, tell us what you like in the squad ride. I mean, I personally would want to put Texas in there. That's
You would or would not?
would. I would.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
At South Carolina State money line, yeah, people brought up South Carolina State to me. It's very weird to see a 4-20 team favorite against a 12-12 team, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get that nasty today.
I mean, that one's pretty nasty. I will say, I mean, I'm not like a Morgan State sharp, but I've seen them in spots like this quite a bit where they've had super short lines and then they go out and win by 50. So I mean, it's tough. I mean, I said the same thing for a lot of these teams. There's sharp spots, short lines a lot of time,
Right.
but that's a weird one. A rare horns up occasion. Yes, it just might be.
Yeah.
So we'll go Texas. We'll put Texas in the squad ride. Put the Pelicans in the squad ride. Is there any other plays, I guess, in CBB while we're here that you want to put in the squad ride?
Prairie View.
Prairie View.
I'm not opposed to Prairie View. I don't think West Virginia is worth doing. I don't know that enough people like them. Honestly, I can't say there's much I like other than those two.
Let's see. A lot of people are saying this Texas Tech environment is going to be insane. Students have been camping out since Saturday after the K-State game. Yeah, I mean, it always is.
Camping out since Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. That's why it's one of the toughest places to play because that place gets insane. It's been really empty, though, lately, I will say.
Why is that?
They're still because they suck.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not the same environment as it has usually been in years past or even the start of this year. But this is Texas and Chris Beard, which they have bad blood. No, he's not even there, but it's just.
Who was the guy on Texas Tech that was really good when they were in the championship? Was it like Zaire Hunter or something?
Zaire Williams.
Is that who it was?
I think.
When they played Virginia, I think they right. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it's Zaire something.
Yeah. Oh, Jared Culver.
Culver.
Yeah.
Zaire Smith. That was the other guy.
He was very good.
Yeah, Jared Culver was insane.
Is he on an NBA team?
He was on the T-Wolves when he got drafted, I believe. I don't know where he is now. Maybe he's G League developmental guy. But
well, I was wrong about him. I thought he was going to be a great pro.
Yeah, he was good. He was good for a little bit. Good little piece off the bench. We'll put Prairie View in the poll. Prairie View, what's that line? 5.5.
Yeah, 5.5. I don't even know what my hockey nomination would be. Would it be like Sabres team total over or something?
Ooh, I mean, yeah.
You could throw the Canucks in there too if you like them.
Yeah, I do like the Canucks. I'll put them in there.
Yeah,
Sabres. Let's see what those prices are. I forgot to look. Sabres TTO 2.5 is -165.
Oh, well, that's pretty steep.
3.5 is +145. I mean, the prices I'm seeing on the king side too. I mean, maybe it's just the square over.
Square over? Yeah, I don't hate that.
It's just the square over the game. And then the unofficial squad ride of Sabres' first goal.
Yeah. I like it.
We can do that. I'll take this off the screen and put it together. So it's looking like we're going to go Texas -4, Pelicans +2.5, Prairie View +5.5, Sabres Kings over 6.5, and then Canucks money line.
You know, there's a lot of respect on the Sabres puck line right now. Just something interesting on FanDuel. So the Kings money line's -155. The Sabres +1.5 is -192. That's the same price as the Senators, and the Flames are -170. You get? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Sabres might be a live dog tonight. Jeremy Perry, stand up.
It might be.
I like it.
I mean, we still have a second here. Do we want to stick with the over or go Sabres?
Well, if the Sabres win, they're scoring goals, right? It's not from defense.
That's true. We can stay with the over.
Yeah.
Might have to play it a couple different ways. But I mean, we got plenty of chances here. Not 5.5. Definitely 6.5. And the Canucks. This is weird doing it while we're talking. I don't think I've ever done this. Other than
the poll.
Yeah. Except for the one time. There you go. Polls up. Send the votes. Send the votes.
I can go vote in this, I think.
Yeah.
You vote in these?
I do. Say my I don't know where my vote's gonna go. I like the over and I like Texas.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna vote Texas.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning Texas a little more too.
I know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to say, "Oh, Krabs misses the show, and now the squad ride is on top-ranked Texas gets an unranked team." Exactly what's going to happen.
No, I remember I saw like on Friday, because Friday the squad ride finally lost. He was like, "Oh," I saw a comment. It was like, "Need Krabs back bad," and I'm like, "Bro, it was a Friday slate. Give me a break."
Yeah, seriously.
It was a Friday slate. It was somebody's favorite play. Came out here and pitched it. People voted. Give me a break.
I got to tell you, if Krabs actually did come on this show after being jet lagged and hungover, trying to talk about these games today, that would just enhance your hangover to astronomical levels. So, yeah, it's probably a good thing he took today off.
Yeah, you might need it. Might need it a little bit.
That's a rough slate.
This is, but I mean, hey, this squad ride votes are neck and neck here.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw when I was in the poll.
Texas leading by a vote. Get your votes in. Get them in.
Oh, I have a prize pick square that I like tonight, Jovan.
Let's hear it.
Unless there's any reason not to, I think I like Kevon Looney in the Warriors game. I like his points and his rebounds, but his points are at 6.5. Actually, wait, you could take points and rebounds, right? Oh, here it is. Yeah. Let's see, where is he? So he's at 15.5. Oh shit, it doesn't show the previous numbers, but he was a little redded out. So I needed something I'm going to play that, and I needed something to pair it with. And what was the guy that you liked in college basketball?
Oh, I can bring it up right here.
Baycott, right?
I do like Baycott.
Baycott rebounds. Oh, is there someone else though?
Yeah, there is. I mean, Baycott will be on my card, but there is probably a lesser known one.
Okay. I love lesser known. Amari Williams
over 9 rebounds, corp goals. Amari rebounds over 9. He plays for Drexel. They're going up against Hofstra, which, I mean, if you guys, a lot of people always ask to see how the hell I come up with props. This is what I do.
Oh my God.
This is what I do. I find these little charts. This is a lot of super high. I don't want to just explain the numbers because that's going to take years, but when they play teams that have a lot of 25+% guys, it doesn't go well for Hofstra. These are guys who get a ton of rebounds, and this is going to be a really, really good spot for him here. So I love his over 9 rebounds. It's probably
Dude,
gonna be-
I was actually thinking that's a lot of points for Hofstra, but I mean, it's fucking Hofstra.
started to tick down a little bit too.
Are you going to take Drexel? I know Drexel's is like Buzz's school. So I wanted to see what Buzz is on him or not, but I think I want to take Drexel.
I'm not against that. I just worry that maybe I'm too late. And I know Drexel's been, I guess, better as of recently, but they're a basketball brain. They're not the best matchup for Hofstra.
Hofstra, give me a break, Hofstra.
Yeah, I mean Drexel's probably going to be pretty popular, like mid-major mats, right? They're probably going to be a little popular, just because they've been good, and this is a lot of points. But I mean, it's starting to tick down, and I mean, they're just like Hofstra. They have 2 guys, really, 2 depending, maybe 3 depending on the day, and the 2 of them are guards. So like, if they can shut them down a little bit, they're not going to be a force on the boards. Like one of the reasons that Drexel beat Charleston is because Charleston feast off of rebounding and especially offensively. And Drexel, what do they do good? They rebound, which is why I'm on the rebounds today against a Hofstra team who can't rebound. So I don't know. Basketball brain tells you it's too many points.
Drexel money line for a quarter unit. Who says no?
Hey, that could do it. That could do it right there. That could get the job done. What are we? Oh, here we go. We got a couple seconds left in the squad ride. Get your votes in. We see the Sabres Kings late push.
No way.
Up by 4 votes. Up by 4 votes.
Wow. Damn, I bet for Texas too.
That's a legacy push. It's a legacy push coming off an OT win as a dog at home against Towson 2 days ago. That is an interesting spot.
Jovan, I need like 10 minutes, bro.
10 minutes.
10 minutes sounds like an eternity.
Bro.
Yeah. I'm gassed, Trent. Get up.
Yeah, I'm gassed.
1:15. I'll be ready. Oh, what do they want you to do? Run the stream just right until the surgical stream?
I guess they just want me to kind of bullshit while I'm up here. But
oh man.
We'll see. I mean, you don't have to stay for that, but
I can do 5 more minutes for you.
Yeah, you can hop out whenever you need to hop out. Sabres Kings over with the late dub.
I like
Love to see it. That's a legacy win right there. Sabres Kings over 6.5 is going to be the squad ride. Cade, I do not need to host the surgical stream because he's literally here to host the surgical stream. It just needs 10 minutes. I mean, I guess while we're bullshitting,
let's go back to the prize picks board.
Go back to the prize picks board. They did put up, I don't know if you saw this, but some of these.
No, Peter Appel's freaking MLB tweets are filling up my timeline. I'm trying to ignore. I mean, I love baseball, but come on, just give me like till a day after football to then start focusing on XFIP and WAR, please. But no, what do you like?
I mean, so for a lot of these, I mean, obviously I'm taking Judge on their home runs. It's just a mandatory play. A lot of the home run ones that I haven't done much research into them yet because they just did drop. I'm just kind of going off of initial reaction. Both of these guys, I mean, Kyle Tucker and Julio Rodriguez, if they stay healthy, I love their home runs to go over too. Last year they put up a hits and RBI, both of those categories, I remember. And if they put Salvador Perez up for RBI, I would love that. Strikeouts, strikeout ones are tough to bet because obviously a lot of it hinges on health. And you can play off of that too. Like Jacob deGrom's under, probably not a terrible look, even though you can hit that in literally 3 games. I'll have to talk with Peter about a lot of these because he's probably more knowledgeable in that area. I know he said he like sees his strikeouts at this number early on too. Corbin Burns seems a little low after the couple seasons that he's had too. I think he's been around 240 the last couple of years, so might go under here, but we'll talk. These are kind of just first look reactions. And yeah, Castillo under Reds jersey still is funny.
How is there not one pitcher from the team in the major leagues with the best rotation? The disrespect is just off the charts.
I mean,
who are they going to strike people out?
Who are they going to put up though? They're going to put up Glass now, who's going to play for 5 games.
Rasmussen,
he's like a reliever though.
Who's the other freaking guy that I'm thinking of? Shane McClanahan.
Yeah, I mean, he's also that's a tough one. He could be a free under too if he doesn't stay healthy.
Free under. If he doesn't stay healthy, you know who I like?
Let's hear it.
I like Dylan Cease.
Yeah, I can.
You like Dylan Cease?
Yeah, the baseball heads like Dylan Cease. Like Peter, that was the one square that he pointed out.
Oh, great. Well, so it sounds like I just fucking stole Peter's thunder here. All right. Well, let me give you another guy. How about Hunter Green? I really like this Hunter Green guy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. I do worry because I mean that's a low number. I wouldn't not in terms of not in terms of his production of I don't even know the number of strikeouts that he got last year, but it probably wasn't too far off. But it worries me because I'm thinking that they're going to make some adjustments to his arsenal a bit because he throws the fastball and either gets overpowered or he gets barreled up. So I'm maybe thinking that some of his arsenal is going to be more pitch to contact just slightly, which I mean the guy's pumping 96, 97 consistently. So how much pitch to contact can you be? But I'm a little weary of it.
It's nobody here that I'm really that jazzed. I would take. How about Nola under?
Nola under.
How about that? Is that nasty?
That could be pretty nasty.
I'm not buying Aaron Nola stock. I'm thinking Philly have a little a little slump this year, a little World Series and Super Bowl hangover. Maybe we see a little Philly slump, and that starts with Aaron Nola in my book.
I could be down for that. Hit Aaron Nola.
What about home runs? I mean, do we think that Juan Soto is going to have a bounce back, performance in San Diego since he kind of was a little disappointing?
I mean, yeah, I think to some degree he will definitely have a bounce back. I mean, I think that whole team and whole lineup is going to be bigger and better this year, which is good because I mean they weren't even that impressive and they still made a little bit of noise in the playoffs, which is good for them. But I mean, it's tough to say because I mean between one of those guys, I think one of those guys between him and Manny Machado is going to have like an MVP caliber season. It's just hard to pick who.
Yeah, it's hard to pick the right one. I agree with you.
Yeah, so it's a little tough. Yeah, I mean I really wanted them to put up the hits and RBI. I'd love if we got some other categories. I didn't see all of the categories that they had up last year. I just saw some certain entries because I didn't place one myself, but I saw some certain entries with certain categories that people had. But have an average category, which if they don't put it up, I will be campaigning for it somehow, some way. Wander Franco is as free as it gets.
Give me everything, Wander Franco. I took him to win the MVP last year, and the injury ruined that one. But I'm going back to him.
Yeah, why not? Why not us?
All right, let me give you a team and tell me if you're buying or selling the Orioles.
I'm not buying or selling.
Okay.
I mean, I guess you could probably lean more selling because I mean their team. I would have expected with them kind of not trading everybody except Mancini, which they were going to do anyway because they had to. They kind of kept the core together, so I was expecting them to kind of improve in some form or fashion. They really didn't.
Right.
So it's in the AL East, which is always going to be super competitive, and I know the Red Sox have taken a big step back from an already struggling team. I can't see it. I mean, this Blue Jays are going to be really, really good. The Yankees are going to be good like always, even if they're not up there winning the World Series. I mean, they're going to compete.
Right.
And the Rays are just always going to be there in the conversation no matter what. They're just going to hang around the wild card. And in a division that's so deep, I can't buy. I can't do it.
I think that's the right answer. Speaking of the Blue Jays, don't you kind of think that they're like the Maple Leafs where they're supposed to be good. They're probably going to be good, but are they ever really going to win it?
Yeah.
They're just not, right?
That's tough. Oh, we got Trent ready now. All right. We can hand it off to him. DeJan, appreciate you coming on. And
of course.
Little quick clutch ad. Yeah, guys, squad ride is the Canucks, or not the Canucks, the Sabres Kings over 6.5. We'll square over for once. Why not us?
Why
Why
not?
not us? But let's have a day. Let's win some bets. We'll definitely have an MLB season long kind of go well cook sesh stream with Peter and a couple other people coming here at the end of the week soon, or when they use or add a couple more categories and stuff. But until then, stay in the lab. Let's keep cooking. Let's hit some squad rides. Let's hit some winners. We'll be seeing.